Okay, welcome back to another weekly trading recap where we review the markets and break down the trades to uncover the lessons which will make us a better traders. So let's get into it. Okay, this week that just passed, so we took a trade on NZDJPY. I took a trade on NZBJPY, took a trade on CAD JPY, and also a trade on Euro CAD, and also a trade on GBP USD. So we'll go through the trades, and see what went right, what went wrong, and the lessons learned, right? So now on NZJPY so I took a buy trade and it was a success. So now on the daily time frame, you can see this daily demand. When price tap into this daily demand, when price come into a daily zone, the confirmation and entry is 1 hour. You confirm and enter on the 1 hour time frame, right? So coming to the 4 hour time frame. So after marking out the daily zone, we had what? Our first mitigation. We had our first mitigation. This was where our first mitigation happened on the zone. This was our first mitigation. Anyway, this is taking time to respond. This was our first mitigation. So our first mitigation. So we note our first mitigation on the 4 hour time frame. And since I will be looking for a buy, since after price tapped into this demand zone, my bias will be what? My bias is what? My bias is bullish, right? My bias is bullish. So now, in order to take this trade now, I will expect a liquidity sweep to happen, right? So now that's where I now go to the 1 hour time frame to note that liquidity sweep. As you can see, this from our first mitigation now. Price created some liquidity, right? Here is the low. So now this low now will be a sell side liquidity. I'm expecting price to take all this structure here are liquidity, right? So now what happened? Price took the liquidity. After taking the liquidity now, we now have what? A failed swing. A failed swing where price came. Instead of breaking this low to continue downward, it failed, right? So thereby breaking this high, giving us a market structure shift. So after the failed swing, my market structure shift was confirmed right here. This is the high, the highest point. So market structure shift occur. So after occurring now, sorry, this is a 2 hour time frame. I mean to use it for the 1 hour time frame. When making my analysis, I don't make use of the 2 hour time frame. What I use was the daily, 4 hour, 1 hour, 13 minutes, and 15 minutes. So either if I should go to 2 hours, either I want to refine my entry to pick a better entry. So after cutting our MSS now, I noticed that there was a rally to the upside, but as you can see, price formed a base around this zone. As price stalled here before giving this impulse move that caused this market structure shift. You understand? Making this, thereby creating what? A rally based rally. That is a rally based rally demand zone. So in order to get the entry clear or the supply clear, I drop down to what? The 30 minutes. I drop down to the 30 minutes, right? So as you can see, a rally, then a base, and a rally to the upside. So this was where I picked my entry. I use this other block here, drag it all the way to this low, and this is where I picked my entry. Drop my stop loss just below this zone. And where I targeted, very close to this high. So as if after getting the TP price reversed. So that was how the trade was. Because normally my target was this high, but it seems I didn't even take it to that high. So this was our trade here. A 1 to 10. A 1 to 10. Going back to the front 1 hour so that you see it. This was what a 1 to 10. Okay. So that is that on NZD JPY. Coming to Euro card now. I did this analysis and I posted it on my Instagram channel, on my Instagram page. Sorry, my Instagram page. I believe you all must have watched it, right? My Instagram page. So let's see. By the way, this trade was a miss. We had a missed entry on this trade. So price has been rallying upward with a series of higher highs, higher lows on the daily time frame, right? So now going back to the 4-hour time frame, in order to get a clearer structure and the PI, you can see. So after the last break of structure here, what do you notice? You notice that we have what point of interest to look out for. We have this demand here. We have this demand here. So now on that same 4-hour time frame, you can notice when price tapped into this demand, this was the first mitigation. Still on that demand, we had our liquidity sweep on the 4-hour time frame. had our liquidity sweep, where we now have what? We have our break of structure. Our MSS, sorry. A market structure shift. After a market structure shift, price T came and used what? This order block. This 4-hour order block. After tapping into this 4-hour order block and respecting this low that caused this sweep, created a break of structure with a very strong impulse candle, right? So this break of structure is valid. After having this break of structure, you also have this order block. But now, let me say I use the whole demand area. We had this. Sorry, no. We had this order block. So now, since this one has enough confluence, so instead of using confirmation on this higher time frame PY, we went for a direct entry, an aggressive entry, since we already have all the confluence we needed. So look at it. This was where I positioned for, coming to the 4-hour. We position here. This horizontal ray I just placed is our invalidation point. So this is my target, this double top. So it was a 1 to 8 trade, and if you can note, we missed this trade by a few pips. If I should calculate the pips, there's our price range here. Why are all this thing stalling? So we have our price range here. Let me calculate. So we missed our entry by approximately 4 pips. 4 pips to our entry, and price just reversed and bought, already getting close to the draw on liquidity. So this was, so if you were to even do any correction here, or if you were to learn a lesson here, it would have been, we would have utilized the whole demand instead of the order block, 4-hour order block. So this is the whole demand, and when you used it, you will notice that we had a very sniper entry, a very good sniper entry, giving us a 1 to 5. So that is that on Euro card. Then I've done on Euro card. Then we have card JPY. So we had a sell to the downside on card JPY, a massive sell due to the influence of news, high impact news, So this thing is taking too long. So if you note, price has been pushing downward on CAD JPY. Price has been pushing downward CAD JPY. So our bias was what? Our bias was bearish. Then coming to the forward time frame to get a clearer structure and a PY to pick from. Notice this series of lower lows and lower highs. Here I have a break of structure here. That is break of structure. We also had another one down here, but this one was what? A fake break of structure, as I would call it, or weak break of structure, as I would call it. So this one is not considered a very valid one. So this was the demand waited for. If you have those who would have entered aggressive here now would have gotten close to 1 to 3, 1 to 2. So I identified our liquidity here after marking the supply. So this was our liquidity. Sorry. This was our liquidity. So after price came into contact with our zone, like I said, since this is a 4-hour zone now, and price has taken with this liquidity, let's go to the 1 hour first. This is the liquidity. Price took out this liquidity here. Then we note our first mitigation. This was our first mitigation. First mitigation. So my confirmation. So in essence, since price has already taken liquidity, those liquidity I marked at. This was a break of structure. Price already taken our liquidity here. So what happened? Let's go to the 15 minutes. After that, price did what? Created a change of character here. After this change of character, price used what? This fair value gap. Price reacted from this fair value gap. giving us what? Giving us a weak break of structure here. Giving us a weak BOS and a break of structure here. So this was where, before this structure formed, this break of structure formed. No, when this break of structure was forming. So this was the POI. This was the POI I picked. Was it this? This was the POI I picked. So I'm expected to sell here. Price to tap us in here. So the price to tap us in here. And my target was what? This drawn liquidity. But as you can see, we had what? A missed entry on this trade. This was serving as an inducement. This was serving as an inducement. But price didn't even get there. They didn't even reach that place. It just came here, created this structure, and when the news hit, it just dropped, taking this taking this draw on liquidity out. As you can see, this is the draw on liquidity price took. Took this draw on liquidity. So this was a miss entry. So I've done on card JPY. Then let's go to GBPSD, which is the last one. So you can see this is the loss I took on GBPSD, and this was as a result of my mistake Like we did our weekly and weekly outlook last week, so you must have seen the video. So this was our point of interest. So I was to be waiting for price to get to this point of interest to see the results, but I was too hasty, I was too fast. So price, this liquidity now protecting this point of interest, price took out this liquidity. Price swept the high, creating a liquidity sweep, right? So now going to the 1 hour time frame. After sweeping the high, so gives this structure that is sweep, dropped, dropped, dropped. This was a failed swing, right? Here was our MSS. So now I marked this whole supply as a point of interest. But now the mistake was that I didn't wait for price to get to this zone to confirm this zone to give a confirmation to sell from here. Rather, I wait for the bids in which market created. Understand? Market created, induced this liquidity for me, thinking it was a valid setup. In a sense, it could be a valid setup. In a sense, it could not be a valid setup. Understand? But the lessons learned here is that always wait for price to get to your zone first, right? Always wait for price. Even if price took out liquidity without tapping into your zone and leave, just let the market do what it's doing. Yours is just to react when the condition is right for you, right? So after this thing, you can see when price tapped me in, price for price already gave me close to 2.3 RR. I see price already gave me 2 points, close to 2.3 RR. So it tapped and looked as if it was going to respect our entry, and as you can see, it burst right through our stop loss, through my stop loss, and the trade was a loss. And if you notice, the zone did not hold. So now I was expecting, if in our weekly outlook is the supply, I will expect price to come tap into first this supply. So I think that's all for this weekly recap. So do well to subscribe and like. You can press the share button in order to get more of this educational content and this growth journey together. Thank you.